every day to allow the space between where I am and where I want to be to inspire me and not terrify me. This is a quote from actress Tracy Ellis Ross. My guest today fits perfectly into this picture. Let us get to meet my guest. Robust. And you went through all of that, crossed the ocean, sailed the sea, and you're still looking this cheap.
Thank you. I appreciate your compliment. And good evening to our audience. It's been a journey and a half. I'm not sure where to start from, but I'll give you snippets of my life because I think a 1 hour, a 1 day, or 2 years is not enough to contain the life journey I have been through. So my name is Rinu, as you know. I've been opportuned to have lived a few worlds. I was born and raised in England and brought to Nigeria by my parents. A very interesting story around that. Was almost abducted by my nanny at that time. So my mother had to hurriedly bring us back to Nigeria. I went to International Women's School and then to Coronet School, and from Coronet to Methodist Girls High School, right? And that's NGHS, and sort of went back to England, spent another 30 years there through career, raising my family, doing very interesting things with life. And then a call back to Nigeria. I was headhunted back to Nigeria to head corporate real estate for Stanbic IBTC. I was there for 5 years, and then decided to continue my consulting practice here in Nigeria. Did a bit of that and headhunted again to Standard Chartered Bank, essentially to run their West Africa and their Africa portfolio. Thank you.
Now, something about you being born in the UK and the school in Nigeria. But then you eventually became the president of the Alumni Association of the Methodist Girls. Take us through that journey.
Right. I mean, I think I was privileged to have a multicultural family and a professional family. My mother, Edo, and obviously a teacher. She was a teacher at Methodist Girls High School, by the way. And my father, a mechanical and electrical engineer, did quite a lot of major projects in Nigeria, both deceased. And they literally brought us up into an environment and to home where education is very critical. Professionalism was important. So I sort of grew up to be an astute professional. But more than anything else, and a community spirited person. I have three siblings, and between the three of us, we've sort of experienced life in different ways. So fast forward to coming back to Nigeria. When I arrived, I realized that there was no clear alumni. So I'm a product of MIT, and we have an alumni, so I understood alumni. And so I had to find my friends. I've been away for over 30 years, and I sort of had coffee with one or two of them and decided we were going to set up the centenary set. We did that, and I was the pioneer president. And then moving from that, I sort of got involved with a school, Methodist Girls High School, which is my old alma mater. And then when I went there to see the principal, I realized the school wasn't quite as what I left. In fact, I remember a story bringing my children to Nigeria, and I had said so much about our schools, and they went to boarding schools in England. And so when we got to the gate, I was so petrified and disturbed. I used to explain to them that my school had lovely, lush gardens. The school, I described the setup of the school. So when they came and they're like, "Mom, is this your school?" I thought to myself, well, we really all need to do something and give back to the school. So I got involved with the global alma mater, the global alumni, and I was made vice president. And we started a whole host of initiatives, bringing the old. I mean, the school is over 150 years, so you can imagine trying to bring as many people back together into the field. We looked at how we could work with the church to regain the school and to build school additional schools. So we've done that, a major project, fundraising and doing various things to support the alumni. We also got involved in mentoring children, so that I have a passion for giving back and giving back, particularly for the girl child. So my set in particular, we would host almost on a monthly basis activities, so we'll invite the girls to work, so each of us would take a girl and bring them into our place of work for a week, take care of them, help them to understand the workplace and just begin to think about their careers. So we'd hold career sessions, would hold a mentoring, speed mentoring, coaching, just be part of that, part of handholding and supporting the school from not just an educative curriculum or academic curriculum, but also from the social curriculum, teaching them about ethics, teaching them about presenting themselves as women, as girls, as ladies. So yes, I could go on about that, but that was my involvement. But today I've sort of stepped back a little bit. I get involved with, I'm a member of the centenary set. We're called the centenary set. We left the school when it was 100 years. So yes, so I get involved in that. And recently, about 10 or 12 of my classmates, I decided to set up an investment club. So those are some of the things that we do in terms of supporting each other or giving back as well. Okay.
Okay, so from what you have said, it's obvious that you're actually a family person. So taking up all these rules, keeping family together, both nuclear and extended, doesn't seem like it's a challenge to you. How come?
I think it's the grace of God. I have to give God all the glory. I have four. I call them my fantastic four. I've got four children, two boys and two girls. There's a story around how they became two boys and two girls, and I'll share it very quickly because it's also about the power of the tongue. When I was younger, as a child, I think I was age 8. I remember going to my parents and saying, "You're very cruel people. How could you have had only 3 children? All my friends had 10 children." 8 children running around their homes, and it was just 3 of us, my 2 brothers and myself. And I said, when I grow up, I'm going to have 4 children. I'm going to have a boy, a girl, a boy, a girl. And that was exactly what I thought. I have also 5 beautiful grandchildren. I prioritize them because I'm family first. It's important. They're growing up. I raised them as a single mother. So I'm very, very close and attached to my children. They were very privileged. I made sure they got the best beyond what I was even given as a child. So they went to boarding schools in England that were very expensive. But they also have a culture. So they were born and raised in England. But it was so important that culture also mattered. So paying attention, I always say to parents is this, what you give is what you get. And, it's just almost like a computer. It's garbage in, garbage out. If you don't give them all them with love, if you don't pour them with affection, if you don't pour them with the knowledge and the experiences of life, you get a challenged child. But we know that it's all the grace of God. But my family are very important to me. My friends are important to me. My community, my church community are very important to me. So yeah, but it's just God's grace to be able to balance it. Yes.
I know that you pulled off a bilateral Chamber of Commerce event recently. Just give us a quick details of that.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So I do represent the Nigerian Chamber of Commerce. I'm vice president, but also I chair the advocacy committee. It's a bilateral chamber between Nigeria and Britain, and really to promote investment and trade relationships and opportunities for cross-border trade across all sectors. I've hosted various series from meeting the governors, Governor of Lagos State, Ogun State, Ondo. We hold trade missions, and more recently, I had a webinar really looking at financial cross-border trade financial incentives. And really, that was really focused around our British clients. So we had people from representatives from Boston Consulting, from the ministry in the UK, and from the Commonwealth Secretariat. So a whole collective of thought leaders in the room, shaping how we look at policy, trade, and advanced investments. Okay.
Okay, the little minutes I've spent with you, I've seen that you are this kind of grandmother. It seems so much energy. And so looking at that energy and your schedule, so how do you get your staff to key in and then deliver as expected?
Very great question. Indeed, I think I'm actually blessed, but I must admit I exercise quite a bit, so I have a routine of waking up as much as possible doing my walks. I do a minimum of 5 kilometers every morning, and I also do some gym work. But that sets my tone, like the tone for the day. I work, I think, 24/7, and I think that has happened as a result of having children, actually. I think mothers generally would admit once you have a child, you don't quite sleep all of the time. I mean, it might not grow now. My first son is nearly 40, but I'm still very alert. And I think that's what it is. I'm blessed with positive energy, and I sort of use up that positive energy. My staff who have worked with me over the years understand my style of working. I wake up in the middle of the night, I send messages. So by the time I get to the office in the morning, their days are already mapped out for them. I'm very hands-on. I have an adaptable leadership style. So I covered, as I explained, I covered the West African markets. So I had heads of offices in various countries, in Ghana, in Abuja, in Cameroon, Sierra Leone, and all these markets I had to visit. I reported into the Singapore office. So time clock wise also meant being awake. So sometimes we have calls in those countries, in Dubai and in Singapore and in London. And that means being awake. And I think over time, my system just sort of got accustomed to adapted to it. So I don't think there's any magic. But I mean, I'm just blessed with it. That's all I can say.
Okay, so in all of this, tell us how you find time for family, especially in the grassroots.
I don't joke with that. It's funny, they make fun of me in my office. Every 5, 10 minutes opportunity I get, I just speak. And because of time difference, because they live in 4 continents. So I have to pick up calls for them when they're in Singapore and Saudi Arabia. So I just pick up the phone and I have a conversation. How was school today? What did you get up to? I do painting with them. Even what sometimes I may be sort of doing my work, but I put them on the phone and they're just having a conversation with grandma. And every holiday, I mean, I spend a lot of holidays with that. So that helps. It brings them to focus so that they don't feel like they miss their grandmother. Yes.
You said how busy your routine can be daily. How do you find time to relax? Outside, sometimes the people will say, for them, relaxation is work. So how do you find time to relax?
I think I'm in that bucket of category. Relaxation is work. So I sit still and I'm thinking about the next thing to do. So I mean, because I have so much on, that time when I relax is when I set my diaries. When I relax is when I'm sort of, maybe I would watch a movie to distract. So I do love going to the movies. I love the theater. I love the arts. So that those to me. So every time I travel, it's challenges. And I travel quite a bit. So it enables me to find my me time when I can sort of relax, unwind and just new discoveries. And I'm sort of also able to shut down. So 1,000,001 people can be my space and I don't see that. And I think that came from the act of having a lot of children around. So when you're switching off, and that helps as well. I'm not great at naps, at sleeping or resting, but I do find ways around it. But yeah.
Okay, I saw a quote and I was wondering that is this the same person that I'm sitting right here with? And I just quickly going to read it. It says, "My mind is mine. My mental health is my priority. My self-care kit entails combination of managing my energy with exercise, emotional offload through deliberate conversations with selected friends and taking holidays, family breaks as a lifestyle."
that sums it all. Absolutely. I think you must have picked up from Standard Charter when we were having one of those mental health conversations I was into it. And that's absolutely who I am. Literally, I'm very deliberate about switching off, switching on who I engage with, who I interact with. I enjoy cerebral people. I must confess. I like to learn. I like to engage. I like to network. I like to do things that improves and enhances me, but also gives into the society. So you will see me sometimes engaging with the cleaner or the driver on the streets. I'm like, the what's passing in the office and it's really okay, but those are part of how I get a mindset reset, for want of a better word. And I have select friends. We go out for lunch, breakfast, whatever it is. And we try and do that as often as we can, just to unwind, have a banter, laugh at each other, just be like girls, be like little kids, and I'm a kid at heart, by the way. Yeah. You need to see me when I go on holidays with my children, my grandchildren. I'm actually on the swings, I'm on the slides, and they're looking and thinking, is this the grandmother? Yes, I do it, I confess.
How has it been trying to mentor, especially in your child, mentoring them to this life? Because, you're actually successful. And okay, somebody was telling me recently that success is not something that stops. So every day you're succeeding. Okay, so you're succeeding, and just tell us things that you have done personally to empower, to nurture the girl child in and later.
Right, thank you very much. And that's a very good and very important question. So yes, I do mentor, I coach, I train, I educate everyone. I know there's been a huge focus on the girl child, but I guess because I've got two boys, it's also important to make sure there's a balance. But I would say a couple of things. By nature, I'm a teacher. And I think that stems from the fact that I was raised by a teacher. So every conversation is teaching. Every conversation is educated. Every interest is understanding. And so by that, I'm able to coach. By that, I'm able to train. By that, I'm able to mentor. So by staff, I don't sort of say because I'm in charge, I would not sort of speak to I would even, I'll have engagements with the facility managers, with the technicians. The nature of the work I do means that I need to understand things. So I would, in understanding, I engage with them at a level where they themselves get more excited to learn. So it's not a madam conversation, so I bring it back down home. And I think when you do that, people are more receptive, more interested, more excited to learn. I'll sit with security guards and talk to them about their jobs. What do they understand? How do they see it? Where do they see their future? I'll speak to cleaners, I'll speak to anyone, I'll speak to the president and talk to him about the future of the country. So I have no bars. I've been opportune to meet people at all spheres of society and life. And I'm very able to sort of hold conversations and work with people. And whatever I learn, I try and transmit it.
You speak more than one language.
Yes.
So would you just tell us?
So I can speak Yoruba, by the way. I can speak Yoruba. It has so let me go there. I do speak Yoruba. I spoke French fluently until I was age 14, 15. My mother actually sent me to both Paris and Abuja because she wanted me to be a linguist.
Wow.
And of course, I had a different plan for my life. She really wanted a daughter who spoke French languages, but I don't remember much of it anymore. But I'm able to sort of adapt myself to whoever I'm speaking to. So when I first got to Nigeria, I just pardon, every conversation I used to get frustrated because I used to think, don't they understand what I'm saying? So I am better. I'm much better. And I speak fast by nature. So I try and level with people. And, it's how you relate. People will be interested. And I learned to live a very busy life. So it was a very interesting thing But as soon as I learned it, it really took me swimming this step coming back to Nigeria, you know. I mean, I share a story. I remember one of the requirements Central Bank of Nigeria posted on Stanbic when I came, because I hadn't worked in Nigeria, was that I needed to visit all the states of the Federation. And I remember doing those travels. You know, they'd look at me and be thinking, what's she doing here? Because of course they'll hear my accent and think, everyone on earth is she doing? And then of course I'll say Yoruba and they're like get all excited. Okay.
So you can
So I do, of course I do. I can.
um, say a word or two, a message, put a message out to those that are watching you right now, and you've seen your profile, and you're like, oh, if I'm doing Karizi this year, then I can be much more.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. That's a very tough question actually, because so many things are going through my mind. But I think a couple of things I'll say. Success is earned. You know, I'd also say that you need to pay forward. You know, a lot of a lot of my achievements, my accomplishments have been the fact that I worked hard. You know, earlier. I'll take an example. Before I graduated, I was always working for every summer and positioned myself. So I met very key people in society in England. Sir Peter Foster was a major developer. He did London Wall. I'm saying Catholics by the dog. No one would imagine this guy used to just hold my hands and take me through buildings. We'll be measuring together at the weekends. Those things paved the way for my future. I'll go to networking events. I'll try and meet as many people as possible. All this is paying forward because we just never know. With my headhunting to Nigeria, so today I don't even know who posted my CV because literally they must have seen something and and I mustn't go away from this interview without paying an acknowledgement and a great thank you. Dr. Christopher Collady was one of those who encouraged me. And I literally did Christopher, he became my father. And he actually just said to me, Anne, I need you to come back to Nigeria. There's so much you need to give back. Chief Emeka Nyako. I went for an interview in 1988, 1992 at the Commonwealth Secretariat then as head of facilities. This man called me, singled me out. He said, no, you're not going to be an employee, you're going to be a consultant. And I wondered, no, this is my dream job. Anyways, long and short of the stories, he made me get a consultancy firm. I completed it in those days with firms. I got my first consulting with the government of St. Lucia, and that opened doors for me. I consulted for the president, for the prime minister, beg your pardon, Sir Kenny Anthony, for about 6 years, and that paid my children's day school. So I can go on and on about the importance of paying forward. It's hard work, but when you do it, the rewards are there. And get involved in whatever it is. I was talking about the investment club I set up for my friends. They're just thanking me like, Anne, why didn't we do this how many years ago? Well, but there's so much we can do for society in giving back. I follow my clean. I insist we must be educated. And he just thinks, what's this? But I don't want to be educated. But basically, the words I say, particularly for women, we have a key role in society. And and we can only make society better by doing every little helps, every little thing we do to make it a better place.
The seasons, all about Valentine, all about love. And looking at you, it really shows that you're a lovable, loving person. We are in love. Yes. You love love. Absolutely. So tell us just something about love, how to show it and how to keep it.
I think two things. Love is innate, but also need to bring it out of ourselves. The society is very tough. Sometimes so hard, you almost forget those innate things are in you. I think that just even your pleasantry is enough, And if you're kind to mankind, mankind will be kind to you. God will be kind to you. And I think that God is I'm clear. God is kind to you. I have a heart full of love. I had a father who loved. My father loved unconditional. And I think we inherited it because if you look at my children, they're the same. We hug. In fact, when I first came to Nigeria, I was told to stop hugging because I'd hug the cleaners. I hugged the driver. Because it was just what I do. That was you. Who I was. And so if you have love in you, you will extend it to someone else. And that's what it is. I love when it makes the world a better place, makes the world go round. Yes.
No matter what you are, no matter who you are, you can still be the best version of yourself. Don't forget that having your peace. And if there's anything that you're taking back from this interview is the fact that you can also be up fine. Speaking of no other person, then I really so, and I know that I put my seasons, so she's been there, she's done that, she's got a lot of feathers to her crown, and all we can see is we love you.
And I love you
Keep
back.
it all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, audience. And I love the audience. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
My name is Femi Adiola. See you again. It's a bye.